Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, this past week and weekend, there were a lot of people who were hitting the lakes, but the results were definitely mixed, to say the least. Not as good as what we had hoped to see, but still people were catching fish out there, just not at the frequency of what they have been. The good thing is the perch bite is still out there, and it's only going to get better as the water temperatures continue to cool. But as far as the walleye bite is concerned, up in the northeastern part of the state, the lakes that produce walleyes this past week included Waubay, Bitter, Lynn, North Rush, as well as Opitz, Pius, Indian Springs, a few at Big Stone, as well as Dry Lake by Clark, and then also Goose. Down the southeastern part of the state, the lakes that produce walleyes included Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Thompson, 81 Pond, Sinai, a few being caught at Ponset, as well as Twin, again, the trophy lake, and then also a few being caught at Campbell, Island, Spirit, as well as Madison. Now, what are guys doing to catch the walleyes? A lot of guys is pulling plugs yet. Some guys are also still using spinners with crawlers, and Slow Death have been working really well. And then more and more people are doing snap jigging. The clam tikka minnow really took off this past week. And then now more and more people are starting to use some plastics, casting those plastics like the walleye assassins you see behind me into the shallows. As far as the perch bite is concerned around the area, again, can only get better from here on out, but plenty of perch are being caught around the area. The lakes that produce perch include Big Stone, Waubay, Pius, North Rush, Dry Lake by Clark, also Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Thompson, Ponset, Sinai, Madison, a few being caught at Island, as well as Twin. Now, what are guys doing to catch the perch? Nothing real, fancy, quite honestly. A bobber and a small jig. A tungsten jig works really well. A drop chain jig works even better. And then tip that with a waxworm or a maggot. But you definitely need to have a finesse rod or a finesse bobber because the bite has been pretty light, to say the least. So again, keep that in mind this upcoming week. In this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about using plastic baits in the fall. A lot of times people will think the only time you use plastics are during the summer, during their spring and early summer. But honestly, fall is a perfect time to use plastics. And a lot of people now are starting to make that transition. As I mentioned during the report, a lot of people are using the walleye assassins that you see behind me. You just put that on a jig head and cast that into the shallows, and that works really well. So don't think that the fall is not a good time for using plastic. Something else that people are going to start using here, and a few have already done it, is throwing plastic frogs for the walleyes. All you have to do is put this on and cast that into the shallows, especially late afternoon, evening. Works really well because guess what? Those frogs are coming back down into the water, and those walleyes are feeding on those frogs. So again, plastics are another good alternative bait to use this time of year, whether or not you're talking about the traditional swim baits or you're talking about the plastic frogs. Don't forget about them, use them, and you will have success, and you'll have plenty of walleyes in the live well. And now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. And folks, as always, before we end this week's report, I want to share a little bit of information with you. First off, I want to make sure you mark your calendars for the Dakota Angler Ice Institute at the Sioux Falls Arena and Convention Center, November 12th through the 14th. And the reason why I mention this is because a lot of you have probably already heard the rumor that a lot of ice fishing gear is going to be hard to come by this year, especially shacks. I hate to say it, but those rumors are true. And so the advantage of the Ice Institute is that it's going to be one of the first shows of the year, and we're going to have some great deals all up and down the show floor. So again, if you're interested in ice fishing, you don't want to miss the Ice Institute November 12th through the 14th. If you have any questions about that or anything else that you've heard on the report today, feel free to give us a call at 605-336-9132. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week. And again, thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. Stay healthy and stay safe.